So the question that's going to be attempted to be answered with this video is Moldavite dangerous? Hi, I'm Jessie Herman. I'm the channel for the non-physical entity group Vagrein, who shares messages about unity consciousness and self-acceptance. Welcome if this is your first time here. If not, welcome back. Recently, I published a video on this channel about how I had my bag stolen. You can link to that in the comments of this video and hear the whole story about what happened. But in that video, I did mention that I'd recently had a client session or a participant session with someone who was talking about the properties of Moldavite and asking Vagrein whether or not those properties could be dangerous or accelerate things in your life or bring upon unwanted circumstances and situations. I was laughing because after having that participant session, I had decided to wear my Moldavite ring again, and actually was wearing my Moldavite ring when the bag was stolen. So I promised you guys I would edit up this video, and here it is. So please enjoy this information from Vagrein about whether or not Moldavite is dangerous.
Did my acquisition of some Moldavite crystal in any way affect the outcome of that day? Because I've heard it's very transformational and powerful energies that can sometimes accelerate somebody's path.
It is energetically, can be, for as much as you attribute to it, powerful. In that way, there's an intelligence, but nothing can change the path. So it is not as if you have not, or had you not acquired that on that day, that there would have been another path. This comes back to the less importance you give to we would even say the superstitions, the less power they have, the more importance you give to them, the more power they have. But in your particular case, there was a desire to acquire that crystal, and the desire did not involve the passing of your animal. Therefore, they are not related. And you can feel comfortable that, yes, your path is accelerated, but it always is. And you did want to have an accelerated path. But having that crystal in your house or in the shop down the street or on another part of the planet does not affect directly the health or the situations in your experiencing.
Okay, thank you for that. Related to that, are you able to advise on how best to work? Or I mean, actually, first of all, so Moldavite or any crystal is essentially just a permission slip, as I understand it, right? And it whatever properties that you believe it has, it has. Is that accurate to say that?
Yes, this is correct. And in the same way, you have technology, for example. You can believe all you want that your banana is a smartphone, but it would be very difficult for you to check your email on a banana. So there are things, permission slips in your reality that you have created or that have been created that do have functionality, and you can choose what to do with that functionality. You have also perhaps seen people who have a jetpack who can now fly over bodies of water. And yes, that too is a permission slip, but it is still quite difficult for you to levitate over a body of water because your belief, the same with the banana, would have to be so intense to know that it was capable without the jetpack. In the case of crystals and some, yes, the one that you are referring to, there is technology in that crystal. Technology might not be the correct word in this now. You do not yet have a word for what we are referring to. And so in the same way, you would not perhaps use the jetpack in a basement because you would hit your head on the ceiling. It would be well for you to understand that there are some aspects of some even crystals, yes, that you can set your intention with and not be careful with, but learn how to use them, yes? So, with your Moldavite, intention is one of the main factors of using crystals. Crystals have an intelligence that you have not yet, with your scientific bodies, completely understood and deciphered. You do have, fortunately, many intuits who have come to conclusions over the centuries of the benefits or the potentials of crystals. And so, as you navigate your relationship with that energy, do learn from others as to how to navigate that, and make sure that you have a sense of respect and collaboration with the energies. You have been drawn to this particular crystal also for a reason. We will, before we speak on that, ask you what it is that attracted you to this energy.
I mean, mainly because, I'd like to. I understand that I am always living my highest timeline, but I'd like to, accelerate my spiritual journey and access spiritual gifts that I understand that I'm capable and um, uh, and entitled. I don't know if that's the right word, but entitled to explore. I'd read certain things about the crystal and felt that it was a good way to accelerate my growth. But I'm just conscious that I want to do it in a way that's beneficial for me. And I'm a
Yes.
little bit apprehensive about it just because of how powerful I've heard it can be.
Yes. So
I
our
want to
next
make sure that
question
I'm
is, why do
ready.
you want to accelerate?
Well, good. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I understand all time is now, and there's no real need. Like everything's going at the pace it should. So yeah, I don't really know how to answer that.
Does it come from a space of excitement or of escaping?
Hmm. I think excitement, but there might be something inside that I'm trying to escape. I don't know. Um,
So we will tell you that with the energies of that crystal, yes, that what you have invited in is not only an acceleration, but yes, an augmentation, a clarity towards what it is that is either propelling you or blocking you. And nothing is actually ever blocking you because you are always in the right place. But as you have situations in your life brought to you in gentle manners to look at the beliefs that are no longer serving you, that is generally done in a certain way so as to be holistic for you, and so as to give you patience and time, so as to give you a very compassionate way to look at each belief and decide whether or not it is serving you. The energies of some crystals, yours included, do have a heightening of both your ability to clear any beliefs that are no longer serving you, but also an ability to see them. And we will say to you that one of the human experiences that can be perceived of as the most difficult is the having to deal with one's limiting beliefs, is the having to deal with one's emotions that have not been dealt with. We will also say that your crystal is very wise and will disappear from your reality spontaneously and without explanation if it is not the right time for you to have it. So do not fret about the specificness of this crystal. But again, we will come back to the analogy of the jetpack in the basement. If you do not want to have this acceleration, both in its positive and what can be perceived of as negative, of course, there is nothing ever negative aspects, then respect is required and a distance perhaps, or a trickle type of experience of exposing yourself to that crystal or not. In other words, your fears may come up more easily, your sadness, your trapped emotions may come up more easily, but they also may come up in the form of catalyst that does bring you to seeing these aspects. So you are correct that, or what we had said was, your dog's passing was not a cause of the energies coming into your life, but perhaps some of the feelings that are ready to be let go of will be let go of faster because of the crystal in your life. In other words, if it would have taken you maybe several weeks to process the emotion of loss and mourning, if you were to spend much time with your Moldavite, that might be accelerated very significantly. But in its acceleration, it does not mean that you have hit a fast forward button on a YouTube video. It means that you get to feel the intense impact of all of that faster. Does not mean it is reduced in its impact. In fact, at times it is even increased. So what we are saying is that a desire for acceleration is also at times a desire to get past the part that one does not want. But it is only through the part that one does not want that your next expansion is available to you. So one is not only accelerating the access of their gifts, they are also accelerating the processing of everything that is needed in order for you to arrive there. And we will remind you that when you do look outside of yourself and you do see people who you perceive to be as spiritual, or you perceive to be as someplace where it is you would like to be, that they have gone through quite a lot, and that there is a wisdom to the processing of it. So learn what you can do with your crystals, with anything that you are using as a permission slip, and then respect it. That is all we are sharing.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
So there you have it. Vagrein says use with caution or use with responsibility. I hope that this helps you to decide whether or not and when to use this particular crystal in your spiritual acceleration and your spiritual journey. And I hope that, as ever, you have drawn some benefit from this session. Please do leave a comment if you have ever had some sort of strange experience with Moldavite. This bag stealing thing is not the only weirdness that I've had around this crystal. In fact, my old Moldavite necklace vanished into thin air. I have no idea where it went. I'd love to hear your personal stories about any experience that you've had with this crystal. Also, leave a comment if you just want to say hello. I love to reply to my comments. I love to see how things have impacted you and affected you. While you're at it, make sure to like this video right now. If you liked this video, it helps the algorithm understand that there are people who this message and these messages should get to. And don't forget to subscribe to this video, hit the bell icon, and all that other hullabaloo. I will see you again here shortly. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.